This evening, President Ali urges water conservation amid El Niño conditions, plans emergency responses to tackle water. Vice President reaffirms commitment to reviving Amaila Falls Hydropower project. Government takes action to clear over 5,000 password backlogs, aims for resolution by this Friday. In the region, thousands arrive in U.S. cities amid migrant crisis. And internationally, ISRAEL-HAMAS War, 260 bodies recovered from outdoor festival. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for October 9, 2023. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali has urged citizens to conserve water due to the El Niño conditions affecting the country. In a recent address, he highlighted the severe consequences of the prolonged dry season, depleting surface water and groundwater resources and straining the nation's water supply system. The president noted that many individuals use water for various purposes, including gardening, farming, and construction, exacerbating this situation. Some regions, especially Region 1, are already experiencing reduced water flow, leading to scheduled sectional water deliveries to residents in affected areas. Plans for emergency responses, including drilling new wells and rationing measures, are being implemented to mitigate water scarcity's impact on agriculture, livestock, and daily life. President Ali stressed the need for citizens to minimize water wastage by turning off taps and using water cautiously, given the challenging El Niño conditions. El Niño is a natural climate phenomenon that can result in water shortages and other community challenges. In an effort to address the persisting passport backlog issue, the government has announced plans to clear the buildup of 5,700 passports and ensure the swift issuance of passports to citizens. President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali last Friday said that all efforts are being made to resolve the problem by this Friday. The president said a team has been assembled and is working 24-hour shift to tackle the existing backlog, including the 400 passports for the diaspora. He acknowledged the frustration expressed by citizens regarding the prolonged wait time for passport issuance, while adding that the backlog issue was exacerbated by a global shortage of passports, a challenge faced by numerous countries worldwide. Significant measures have been taken to rectify the situation, and passports are now back in the system. Meanwhile, the president is encouraging citizens to utilize the regional offices in their areas. In other news, police in Berbice conducted a cordon search exercise, searching several homes in different locations on Saturday, September 7, 2023. During the operation, 4 individuals were arrested, a 31-year-old laborer and a 19-year-old unemployed male for robbery on the arms, and a 50-year-old self-employed man and a 30-year-old laborer from Stanleytown for possession of narcotics. Additionally, during a search in Pitt Street, New Amsterdam, the police discovered a hidden bag in a clump of bushes. This bag contained 12 bulky parcels suspected to be cannabis and totaling 54 pounds when weighed. Stick around when we return. Government reaffirms commitment to reviving Amaila Falls Hydropower project, and Gana Fire Service celebrates 49 years of fire prevention with engaging activities.
Oh gosh! What is this? Me son can't read or spell. Stop! 0 out of 20. Is what I gonna do here?
Let's start improving your child grades today. Register for our primary or nursery department. Hidden Treasures, we're located at 204 East Half Charlotte Street between Camp and Alexander. Or contact us at 649-0373.
I can call them now.
Hidden Treasures, discovering gems in young minds.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
and TikTok followers, he is credit. And today, all we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all of these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, five spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinate soak for all you don't know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
Pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, direct seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radica went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. He shaped like a guy in a map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Vice President Dr. Barry Jagdeo has reiterated the government's commitment to the Amaila Falls Hydropower project and announced plans to reissue a request for proposals for its revival. The government aims to do this within the next 2 weeks. Dr. Jagdeo noted that multiple investors have expressed interest in the project, including companies from Brazil, Austria, and Korea. The Amaila Falls Hydropower project is part of the PPPC government's efforts to lower the cost of electricity and support Ghana's economic diversification. The project is expected to provide reliable and cheaper electricity to the country, working in conjunction with the upcoming gas-to-energy project. Despite previous challenges and setbacks, the government is determined to move forward with the project, which is anticipated to generate 160 megawatts of power and contribute to Ghana's renewable energy grid. The Ghana Fire Service is celebrating 49 years of fire prevention observances under the theme, For the Future of Our Nation, Practice Fire Safety and Prevention. A series of activities are planned to engage the public on the importance of fire safety. Fire Prevention Officer Sheldon Sands said the event include a fire safety fair scheduled for October 20th, which will involve schools in Georgetown and surrounding areas and companies focused on fire prevention. The fair will include trivia games and firefighting activities, among other things. The Ghana Fire Service aims to instill fire safety as a second nature in every household, particularly among the younger generation. They have also been sensitizing market vendors and conducted community outreaches and fire safety exhibitions to raise awareness about fire safety and prevention. Don't go away after the break. Dozens killed, including boy, as Russia targets Kharkiv, and ISRAEL-HAMAS War. 260 bodies recovered from outdoor festival.
Problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. He is Credit, and today all we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, white spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinated, soak for all you wanna know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
Pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, dark seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radhika went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. She shape like a guy in a map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized gear, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. In the United States, hundreds of asylum seekers are arriving in buses and planes from the southern border to the city across the country. Authorities in New York, Denver, and Chicago are asking for more money to cover the costs. Al Jazeera's John Hendren reports.
They come by the busload, a dozen times a day, hundreds of them. It's a grueling bus trek from Texas to Chicago in the American heartland, 2,000 kilometers from the southern border.
It took us 24 hours to get here. We made a few stops for the bathroom and for food, but now we're here.
Critics say they are pawns in a political feud. Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott has transported 50,000 migrants on buses to sanctuary cities in the past year and a half. So far, 17,000 have ended up here in Chicago with a Democratic mayor and a Democratic governor. For many, like Maria, the ride marks the end of a months-long journey through the perilous Darien Gap between Panama and Colombia, then onto Mexico and Texas.
Crime is the reason I left Venezuela. I wanted to protect my children. I had to walk through jungle in Panama where a lot of people died. It was really hard.
With Texas increasing its bus fleet from 100 to 150, the daily buses to Chicago are expected to double, from a dozen to as many as 25, overwhelming a city already struggling to manage its new residents.
With shelters overwhelmed, 2,500 migrants as of today are living in and outside of Chicago's police stations. And temperatures are dropping, so the race to get them indoors before the brutal Midwestern winter is on.
Chicago has agreed to pay $29 million to build massive heated tent villages across the city, like these in New York. But here, in a city with a massive poverty problem of its own, many residents resent resources going to their new migrant neighbors.
I see the buses pulling in here every day, all day long. I get off at night, I see the buses still coming in. You know, how do you have other states, other cities, sending buses here? Send them back!
Responding to the crisis, President Joe Biden reversed himself this week, agreeing to spend more to build new barriers along the border. New York Mayor Eric Adams visited Mexico and Ecuador and is heading to the Darien Gap.
Our hearts are full and endless, but our resources are not.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson plans to visit the U.S. southern border soon. As the long journey comes to an end for many migrants, the city's work is just beginning. John Hendren, Al Jazeera, Chicago.
Internationally, the Israeli rescue service Zaka says at least 260 bodies have been recovered from a music festival that was attacked by the Hamas on Saturday. And a senior official from the Hamas has confirmed that more than 100 Israelis have been taken as captives. Al Jazeera's Willem Marks reports.
The death toll in Israel soared above 700 on Sunday, a number likely to numb much of Israeli society. Many of those killed close to Gaza had come to dance. But as Hamas fighters attacked, crowds of ravers ran for their lives. Many were dragged into Gaza as captives. In the face of this onslaught, Israel's military is facing criticism for its slow response on Saturday morning. By Sunday morning, its warplanes smashing the strip with near constant airstrikes. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has promised to turn Gaza into an island of ruins. For some residents, that devastation already a reality, with Gazan health authorities reporting many hundreds killed in Israeli attacks. Israel says this destruction is just the start of a long response to Hamas's unprecedented attack. Tanks and munitions also massing by the border with Lebanon, following artillery and rocket fire back and forth with Hezbollah to the north. Large numbers of soldiers are mobilizing in the now militarized zone near Gaza, with a warning to Palestinian civilians to back away from the boundary line that Hamas had breached.
There are tens of thousands of military personnel in the surrounding areas near Gaza. We will continue to arrive to every settlement until we kill all the gunmen who are inside Israeli territory.
In the occupied West Bank, mourning for several civilians killed in clashes with security forces. Among them, a mother torn by grief for a teenage son. Several countries have called for the violence to cease, but no sign either side will contemplate a cessation anytime soon. Willem Marks, Al Jazeera.
And finally, a 10-year-old boy has been killed in Russian air attacks on the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv. The air raid comes a day after Russia was accused of carrying out one of the worst attacks on Ukraine since the war began, when 52 people were killed in a small village to the east. Al Jazeera's Zin Bashravi reports.
The point of impact of a guided Russian missile in the heart of Ukraine's Kharkiv region. The blast wave was so strong, destruction spread for several city blocks. The city's mayor says there were no military targets in the area. Only civilians live here.
I woke up because of the sound of the explosion. It was very powerful. I told a friend Kharkiv was safe. She could come back. Now I blame myself.
This deep impact crater is from an attack that happened just a few hours ago. Multiple missile strikes in the early morning hours at the beginning of the workday. In Kharkiv, they're growing accustomed to Russian attacks. Grateful just to survive a day at a time. A second blast site and more devastation. For this woman, survival is bittersweet. She was not home when the missile hit, but her brother's lifeless body was pulled from the rubble. Hours later, news her grandmother was also killed. Investigators collect missile fragments, every piece of twisted metal, evidence, Ukrainians say, of possible war crimes. In the small village of Groza, the smell of blood still hangs in the air. After a missile strike on Thursday killed dozens attending a memorial service.
This is my family, my fellow villagers. I lost everyone. I feel nothing at all.
There were mothers with children here. I don't know what the Russians want. I don't know what they wanted to prove.
Olga says what happened here is barbaric.
24 hours after this attack, police are still pulling people out of the rubble. Well, they're pulling remains out of the rubble. There are thought to be the body parts of multiple people in this one bag.
Why? This is a remote rural community of 300 people. There are no military installations here. This did not appear to be a military target. These are two civilian infrastructures filled with civilians, women, children, who are gone now.
A local prosecutor described these attacks as one of the biggest crimes so far in the war. And even to observers of countless conflicts, the apparent targeting of civilians living in a small village, nowhere near front lines. Nothing more than senseless violence. Zain Basravi, Al Jazeera, Groza, in Ukraine's Kharkiv region.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3rd weather forecast. And that's Safe TV2 Headline News for this Monday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.